Uh, so your name is Harold Dean Rivers?
Yeah,
Is that
Harold
correct?
Dean Rivers.
And you're 62, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So you're 30 years older than me, because I'm 32.
Okay.
So,
Yeah. Yeah, there's a day or two's difference there, ain't there?
yeah. And let's see, who was your parents? Are they both deceased? Or are they living?
Yeah, they both passed away. My dad passed in July of 2000, and my mother in 2004.
What was your mother's name?
Agnes Evelyn.
Agnes.
She was a Thomas.
Now you said you lost your dad in 2000.
Yeah, July 8th.
My papa, Kurt Lawson, died in August the 5th of 2000. And then Mom died 6 months later, February the 10th of 2001.
Yeah.
So, my daddy's still living, but he lives over in Tennessee, and I don't never get to talk to him now, hardly, or see him. He ain't seen his grandson. Had my youngest boy, he ain't seen him 4 or 5 times.
Are we on? Are we?
Yeah. Okay. That's why I try to kind of be sneaky about it, so you wouldn't be uncomfortable.
Yeah.
So you live here. What do you call this little place? Metaphoric, or what do you call it?
Oh, we call this Reed's Creek.
Reed's Creek.
And where I'm sitting right now used to be an Indian settlement. I found a lot of arrowheads.
Oh yeah.
Here. And we, just in that direction in front of me, we used to have a garden. And you'll see, if anybody wants to watch parts of it with my parents in it, in the cornfield, and that's directly in front of where I'm sitting now.
Was this the old home place? This general plot of land here?
No, down the road. Just
down the road, but
probably 600 yards from here. I'm up in a bottom above where the videos that were made of me singing and playing.
Is that house still there?
Yeah, it's still there.
We can get a shot of it.
Yeah.
So what age did you start getting into playing guitar and singing and just in general?
Oh, ever since, well, my dad had an old guitar. He was a musician himself when he was younger, and ever since I was big enough to hold a guitar, I've played one. I don't even remember picking up one the first time, but...
So it's been part of your life for as long as you remember, basically.
Oh, yeah. That's about all I had to do when, back then, was to beat on an old guitar.
Now, did you grow up privileged, or did you grow up poor?
Well,
kind of in the middle.
I can say this: we never went hungry.
What did your dad do?
He was a coal miner and farmer, and he cussed a lot.
So that's the story of a lot of people in Lee County, coal mining and farming. Did he grow any tobacco?
He never did that.
Never grew tobacco.
But he ran his own coal mine for 19 years. And in 3 or 4 months of summer, he would just stop mining and farm, raise a crop, put up hay. We kept cattle, ducks, chickens.
You were expected to earn your keep, I'm assuming. You had a lot of work to do around the
chores, yes.
A lot of people back then, nowadays kids don't know what it's like to earn their own keep.
No, not really. They don't. They wouldn't know if they were in the middle of a garden. I don't think 90% of them would know stalk of corn from a cabbage head, or beans from potatoes, or whatever.
Well, I'll be honest. That's it's been so long since I've had any gardening experience. Lord, I'm hoping to grow a garden this summer, and I don't know how to do it. My mama, she's out of her mind and ain't able to tell me how to do it now, because she's had that stroke, and Well, I just don't know what to do. But I aim to get a garden or something.
Well, I consider myself an expert on that. I've done it ever since I was a kid, so I don't think anybody can outdo me when it comes to growing stuff.
Well, we can this summer we can get a little bit of we can get an expose on a garden or something and put some plants out and feature that. A lot of people would be interested in what
We
we
might
can.
even, I hadn't thought of that. We might even get into Field and Stream magazine there, mightn't we?
Well, yeah, yeah, a Better Homes and
Maybe.
Garden or something.
Maybe somebody will recognize me yet as a gardener, if not a musician or a singer.
Well, I think that once the videos of you playing and singing get out, there'd be no trouble with people enjoying you singing because it does run in the family, big time. Because I play and sing too. I'm not so much of a guitarist as you are. You're a lot better than I am on the guitar, from judging from what I've seen on the videos. When at what age did you get out and start seeing the world on your own, or getting out and trying to make a way for yourself? What age did you do that?
Well, actually, I was 20 years old. My dad was a workaholic, and he believed in the work ethic. He thought that hard work was the solution to most problems, and work we did. So I had to work a lot when I was in my teens, farming, logging, cutting wood.
Did you go underground and mine coal too?
A little bit.
A little
It
bit.
is mine, but I went to work for a coal company when I was 22, I believe. Westmoreland.
Oh, Westmoreland was a big deal around here.
Yeah. Back in the 70s. This was 1976 when I went to work in the coal mine.
I can remember in the early 80s, my aunt worked for Westmoreland as a mine rescue and a nurse. And I remember her bringing home some big bucks from Westmoreland even back then.
Yeah, that was ahead of, well, I was, in 1973, I don't know how many people nowadays remember Caswalker Supermarkets, but I started to work there at the rate of $1.60 an hour.
Now, Caswalker's is now, that building is now a flea market or something.
Yeah.
Because in the flood of what year was that flood? 77?
Yeah, and there's been several that's flooded it, but 77 was the worst.
And that ended Caswalker's, didn't it?
Yeah, and he also passed away some time ago at the age of 98, I believe. So he was a tough old scudder.
For a while there was a Payless grocery store in there, and then there's the one that I think everybody around Pennington Gap will remember, the Piggly Wiggly.
Yeah.
That used to be there where Food City is now.
They changed the name of it to Food City.
Yeah.
It started out as Piggly Wiggly there. Piggly Wiggly used to be on the other end of town from there, basically the center of town. This is on the east end of town, where the Caswalker building was.
And Piggly Wiggly used to be there where the IGA is now in Pennington. I seen a picture of that not long ago.
Yeah, it was. I remember that well. I'm 30 years older than you, so.
Was the theater open whenever you were younger? The Lee Theater? Or was
Yeah, but I've never been inside that building. I've never been in it.
You ought to see it now. I got kind of worried.
Snow
Snow.
snow melting and sliding on this roof. Well, don't worry, it's not going to cave in on you.
I busted my wife's back windshield cleaning snow off of it somehow yesterday. And I've got to call the insurance company and see if they'll cover it. If not, I'm going to have to pay $300 some to fix that. But anyhow, so you got out on your own when you was in your early 20s. And then round about what year something happened and you found yourself sitting in Lee County Jail on August the 28th of 1978, you said? Or?
Yes.
Now, and you made an interesting video, and we're going to feature this video, or actually you made a recording. They didn't have a video camera, but you made an excellent audio recording of a little variety show with some singing and a little bit of comedy, and we're going to feature that video. How old were you there? I can't do the math in 78.
I was 25.
25 years old. Young man, and it's hard to believe that being so young, once people see or hears just the level of comedy there, you know, most people require a little bit more life experience before they're that funny. But it seems like from what we've heard that you've got quite a bit of life experience. Even at that age, you'd worked hard, and so you'd had quite a bit of life experience at that point. What happened from there? What?
Well, I would say that that particular occurrence was a first. I don't think that anybody else has ever been allowed a tape recorder in that jail before until I came along. I just happened to be fairly good friends with the sheriff at that time, Paul Harbor, and he let me take it in, and I'm sure other people had guitars in there from time to time, but I was the only one at that time, and while I was there, that had a guitar in there.
Now, so, Paul Harbor, I've seen a picture of him when he was sheriff. He kind of looked like Andy Griffith, didn't he, in a way?
Yeah, he was a little bit Mayberry-ish, I guess.
I think he looked like, I was thinking it was the Paul Harbor. I seen a picture of old past sheriffs, and I'm thinking it was him. He kind of just reminded me of Andy Griffith in a way, just his face and stuff. So you were friends with the sheriff, and he kind of was a little bit lenient and let you make this awesome recording.
Which we didn't rehearse or anything. We just started, and you know, I've listened to it 2,000 times probably. I can't think of anything I'd want to change about it. And then also I think, well, if we had rehearsed it, it wouldn't be as good as what it is. I mean, it was just, everything was done on the spur of the moment.
The two fellas that were in the video with you, are they both, they're both now passed away, aren't they?
Yeah, yes. Pauline Allen, he died at the age of 52 after a long bout with cancer, from what I hear, and I was told that Kermit Bostic died from what I think may have been an overdose, something about his medicine, from what deputy told me. And you know, that shocked me because you know, we were all three pretty close, and I'm the only one that survived. And I've done altogether, I've done 20 years in prison. I've managed to make it to 14 federal prisons, 30-some jails, and 1 mental institution so far. I hope that's the end of it, but I was in transit a lot. I did time in Lewisburg, Pennsylvania, Atlanta, Georgia, Ashland, Kentucky, and Manchester, Kentucky, but all the others I was just in transit, was only there a few days from traveling from one prison to the other. You know, I was designated to Leavenworth in 1984 rather, and I stayed out there a month. I didn't want to stay out there. It took me a week to get a letter out there, and my dad got the congressman, Rick Boucher, to get me transferred from there, so I ended up in Lewisburg, Pennsylvania, and I stayed there 7 or 8 years.
And a lot of people remember Rick Boucher. He's still around. He's not. He's no longer a politician, I don't think.
He lost in his 13th term. I didn't think he would ever lose it. But
and how many years is each term? About
4 years, I believe. I don't know.
Yeah, a lot of people. Rick Boucher is a well-loved person in Southwest Virginia because of all the good that he did.
Yeah, I think he was. I think he cared about the people and the environment instead of, you know, just trying to fatten his bank account. I think he really cared about the community. And
It's so I wouldn't call Rick Boucher a politician. Actually, I would call him what we used to have as a statesman instead of a politician.
well, yeah, that's what I would consider him as. Yes.
Yeah. So now you got out of prison a little. I don't know how much earlier than expected because it came out that somebody had kind of screwed you over a little bit to get you there. What happened there?
Well, yeah, I was guilty of some of that, and some of it I wasn't guilty of.
And then somebody screwed you over and lied on you, right?
Oh yeah, many times.
And so, because of that, someone's, I don't know what we would call it, especially if it was a law officer that did it, right?
Yes, well, there was a lot of perjured testimony.
I think that's the most disgusting aspect because we pay law enforcement officers to protect us.
We pay them to lie on us. In other words,
Seems like, yeah. So
I know we have to have them, but
it all came out in the wash, and you got out.
Oh yeah, they thought they had me for life, and I had to sow my wild oats. But I've done a lot of stupid things, and then I've been accused of a lot of things I didn't do, and you just have to take the good with the bad and deal with it.
It shows for someone, with 20 years of institutionalization under your belt, you're a pretty well-adjusted guy. It seems like you came back to society, and you're friendly. You don't seem institutionalized. So I think that you're being strong-minded helped you. Do you agree?
I agree with that 100%. I never would let it change me. I've seen guys crack up in there so many times. I mean, they just the thought of knowing they were getting out, going back into society, I mean, it just scared them to death. They didn't know how to deal with it. That's what you call being institutionalized. But
right.
I never would let it get me to that point.
It takes you have
to have a strong mind to deal with it.
I couldn't do it. I couldn't deal with it.
I don't think these officers that put me there could do what I've done either. They would commit suicide. I don't think they could handle it. But old Harold's a tough son of a bitch.
There you go.
And let's take a break right now, if you
All right.
don't mind.